All right. So I've checked that Twitch is streaming because I have to these days. And I'm just gonna send out some social messages about this. But it's Tuesday and it's stream time. And nobody's joined yet. So I'm gonna just talk to myself while people join. And close off a few things and update a few things. But I am very happy. Hey, welcome. I am very happy to report that I was actually able to. Come on. Why is this not working? Let me do this again. I was able to get my stuff working offline. Jayla, will this be recorded? Yes, it is being recorded. It'll go onto my YouTube channel sometime tomorrow, which you can find here. Let me go and find that link quickly. And all the other live streams are there as well. So you're welcome to go and check those out. This is a live stream, so it's slightly different to the regular meetups that we do on Learn WordPress. I'll just be talking and coding, and after an hour I'll stop. But you're welcome to chat with me in the chat if you have any questions about anything. But yes, I'm busy building out this theme from some amazing designs that Emily created for me a while ago now. And last week I was struggling with getting my code right. And this morning I sat down with it and I went back to the original have flip direction left and right functions and set everything up the way I thought it should work. And hey, lo and behold, it actually works. So what I have currently is I've just applied a border to the horizontal rule to see when it changes from left, when the class changes from left to right. And if I edit my site and hop on over into the editor, there's the red border. I'm just going to open up the console just for now. Hang on, it's got something on that I don't want on. Let me turn that off. There we go. And now if I hit left or right, it changes color. Woohoo! So I've gotten the JavaScript code side of things working. Now I need to change the actual CSS code so that it flips left and flips right, but I'm glad to see that it's working. I'm also going to need to move these buttons a little bit. I'm not quite sure why they're displaying the way they are, but I'm sure I can fix that with some CSS. So that's my goal today. Hey Mark, welcome. My goal today is to get the flipping working, get it to save it, and then display it the right way around once it loads, and then go from there. So I'm not sure what I was doing wrong last week. I feel like if I go back and have a look, it'll become clear to me. But I do feel like I was doing this. I had the handle flip direction left and right functions, and I was passing in left and right and setting the attributes. So I'm not quite sure what went wrong, but it does all seem to be working. So I guess I just had a bug somewhere that I managed to resolve. Maybe it was a caching issue. I honestly don't know. Anyway, let me get my local environment set up. Okay, that is probably Google Meet saying, do you want to stay on this call? I'm going to close that down. I think Aruba's probably at WordCamp US, and Emily's either there or busy. So all good. I'll carry on. And we want to be in science ending, and then we want to npm run start, get the build going. Okay, so that's all being built. Lovely. So the transform probably has to change, and the width probably has to change. So I think what I'm going to do is, if it's right, I'm going to pop that in there. And then I'm guessing it's probably just a transform now that I think about it. So probably plus left and right. It's going to be my guess anyway. I've never worked with these transform things inside of CSS yet, but let's see if that does something. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave it on the default as well, just because I think I still need to fix something in the code so it's automatically either left or right. So I'll leave that like that for now. And then let's refresh this. Okay, I'm still getting those errors, which I expect. But let's see if things change around when I start making changes here. Hey, okay, so that did work. It's not quite in the right spot, but at least it's changing things for me, so that's good. Now, I'm thinking I need to definitely move it. I need to move it over. So I'm going to need the width to happen. And it's going to be the opposite width. So I wonder if it's as simple as just changing that to a positive and that to a negative. I mean, let's try that and see what happens. So if that one's right, this one's left, let's see what it does. Probably not. But I like to try things like that first and just see what happens. Is there a GitHub repo of this project? I'm trying to understand where custom CSS and JS are stored after I make a child theme from 2023. So this isn't a child theme of 2023. You're welcome to check out the code. Let me find it here for you quickly. But this is not a child theme. This is a standalone theme. That having been said, you probably could figure out from here where to store things. Depending on what you need, you can enqueue your child theme CSS and JavaScript just as you normally would with any other theme. So go through this and check it out. Here's the URL. For some reason, when I copy and paste, it doesn't work. I have to right-click and paste. So there's the URL. One thing I will say is that I have currently got two sets of JavaScript / CSS for this theme. So this might be a good idea to run through this quickly. So inside of my assets directory, I have CSS, custom CSS, and I have some JavaScript. Actually, let's do it in the editor. So let's close this down. Let's close that down. So there's the custom CSS. We were looking at that now. And there's the custom JavaScript. And this is being enqueued in the functions.php using the enqueue block editor assets, which I think is actually wrong. I'm going to come back to that in a second. But I'm just using a standard WP enqueue script call to enqueue the JavaScript, the custom JavaScript, and a standard WP enqueue style to it should. So I only use because the typical functions. Yeah, you can definitely still use a functions.php. There's no reason why you can't. It will still load. It will still do things. Let's actually go on for a little side tangent. Why don't we? I don't mind side tangents. These are good. So let's do this. WordPress.test. Let's do this. Okay, I am going to switch to my 2023 theme. and activate that. Then I'm going to go and make a change in the editor. And I'm simply going to change the footer template. Now in patterns, there's the footer template. That's got some kind of problem. Don't know why that is. Oh, probably because I was messing around with it. Okay, and I'm going to change this to... I'm going to change this here to WordPress local. And hit save. That's fine. And then I'm going to use this plugin called Create Block Theme that I have. And I'm going to create a child theme of 2023 using this plugin. So we'll say 2023 child. And the rest can all stay the same. And then I'm going to generate this. And this will create a zip file, which I'm just going to stick on my desktop. And then I'm going to install the child theme. There's the child theme. Okay, so the reason I'm doing this is I want you to see the difference between the parent theme and the child theme. So let's activate the child theme. If we now browse the site, you'll see it says there WordPress local. And if we browse the site and go look at the footer, it says WordPress local. If we go back to our themes and we activate 2023, you'll see the title does say WordPress local, and it's probably the footer will as well now, because it's stored in the title. That didn't work. Okay, let's do this. So let's go back one step. Hang on one sec. I'm trying to show the difference between the two, and I've actually changed it in the database, which doesn't help matters. So there's WordPress. Okay, let me save that. Okay, good. That's done. Then let me go into the child theme. So let's find it here. There's the child. There's the one footer template part. And I'm going to change this here to WordPress child theme. So we can see that it is definitely the child theme that's being loaded. Okay. And in the parent theme, we'll change the footer pattern. No, not footer, pattern, footer, template part. Sorry, folks. Forgetting where my things are. Oh, that's using the default pattern. Okay, fine. Pattern, footer defaults, WordPress, parent theme. Okay. That plugin I will share with you in 1 second. Just give me a minute here. Okay, so let's make sure we're still happy it all works. So appear, right. So here is WordPress. Let's go back to appearance. 2023 is active. Why is it not pulling in parent theme? Probably needs a refresh. Let's just see here. Probably because it's saved in the database or something. Anyway, let's activate the child theme. Let's see if that changes. Oh, there it is. WordPress child theme. I'm looking in the wrong place. Okay, let me just go back one step and activate this and refresh this. Yeah, okay, that just says WordPress. But anyway, so that does show that the child theme is different. And so now if I activate the child theme and I refresh again, powered by the WordPress child theme, good. So now in my child theme, I can do good old functions.php, and you can do this in a parent block theme as well. So there is the child theme. There is the style sheet, which doesn't have anything in it. But if I go here and I go into my functions and create a functions.php, and then let's go to developer.wordpress.org. I can never remember how the things get queued up. Is it in here somewhere? Child themes. How to create, there we go. Style sheet, here we go. There we go. Okay, here we go. So only works if you have a version defined install shader. One of these works, I can never remember it. But let's just pop it in here. So enqueue scripts, my theme, enqueue styles. Parent, enqueue parent, blah, blah, parent, enqueue style child. So we should just be able to get, probably will need the parent handle. So for the parent handle, we can just call it, not that we need to, but let's do it anyway. Three, child style, get style sheet, parent handle, version I'm just going to leave out for now. And then I should be able to add some styling to this theme. So what we will do is let's style this area here. So let's inspect this, and let's say this has paragraph with has text align right. So I should be able to do, I think it's that. And let's make it red. Why not? And let's go font weight bold, just for the sake of making it obvious. So now this should load the style sheet. And then that should load that style. So let's test that. And it hasn't worked. Let's see why that hasn't worked. Should have worked. Must have done something wrong. Let me scroll to the top here. Just make sure I got the right. I do have the child theme installed. I've probably enqueued the style wrong or something. Hang on. Let's do this just to make sure. It has been so long since I've done a child theme. Enqueue style, get style sheet URI. I probably need to do something like this. If the parent loads a style using, you see it doesn't, it's a block theme, but I know these do work. Let me just check here. Where's Sendig? Steal some of my own code. I don't want that. No, I'm not doing it here, am I? Oh well, let me find this. Okay. Enqueue style, enqueue style, enqueue style. Enqueue scripts, enqueue style, your child themes functions. If you do not have a greater functions, if the parent theme loads both, the child theme doesn't do anything. If the parent theme does get template, get style sheet. I think it's just this one then, actually. Sent me off on a tangent here, my friend. This is, I don't think we actually need this. I think we can just load it. I'll give it a version. Right. I think this just works. Let's just, if it doesn't, we'll dive into the code and find out why. There we go. Proudly powered by, in red, all in bold. I wouldn't use this code as is. I would just make sure of it. But yes, you can load. Things. Let me see your. Comes here for some reason. I thought we were getting rid of PHP, but on second thought, you can't because it still needs PHP to run on the server. Correct? If I'm wrong, the fundamentals of the block theme is still move the user experience to a JS variant for better controllability. But I see now that you still need PHP files to pull assets and other essential files. So I don't agree 100% with the idea is to move it to the JS variant, I guess is the word you use there. But essentially the goal is to block themes. So the way I look at this is my personal viewpoint is building block themes allows you to speed up your theme development process. So if you want to go back in time and go to my YouTube channel and go and have a look at some of the early sessions I did when I was building this theme. I can't remember exactly when I started, so I'm going to scroll back here. I started. No, it wasn't there. It wasn't there. It wasn't there. No, it wasn't there. Here. So around about the 9th of May is when I started. And I use, and this is maybe be useful for you as well, is I use the Create Block Theme plugin. And what that allowed me to do was I installed this plugin. Now it's not pasting it. And I then used 2023 as my default theme, and I then created a clone of that theme, and I could start building from scratch. And so what it meant was, and if you go through all of the live streams from May, you'll see that I created the brand new theme by cloning it, and then I just started making changes. So I applied the fonts, and I made changes to different things. And so for me, at least, what I like about the whole block theme paradigm is, number one, I don't have to build everything from scratch. So I can use either 2023, or I can use, there's another theme I like to use called Blockbase as a foundation. And then I just build on top of that. And then as I'm building on top of that, I can save those changes. Yes, the plugin is very much, for me, it was a game changer as to how I integrate with block themes. And this is, I'm glad you bring this up, because I haven't actually used the plugin in the live streams in a while. But what I like about it as a developer is I can do things like export my current changes. So let me switch this theme back to Sendig as an example, which is the theme that I'm working on. So if I go and let's make a change to, let's do this. I'm going to go into, I want to show you something here which I think is useful to know. It's useful to review. I'm going to close all of these 2023 things down. I'm going to delete that child theme because I don't need it anymore. So what it allows me to do is, let's say I'm working with my templates, and I'm working with, let's say, the index template that I'm currently working on. If in the index, actually, the template that I'm currently working on is my footer template. So if I go into my footer template file now, I'm going to show you that file quickly in my theme. No, not templates, it's in parts. So it's the footer template part. You'll see right at the top here, there is the horizontal rule that I'm currently working on. So it's this block separator, and then it has a custom style class, a custom class applied, and it has this has flip direction right applied by default. Now, I'm busy working on some code that allows me to extend the horizontal rule block so that I can make it so that if somebody clicks on the button, it flips it left and right. And that's the stuff you were looking at when I first started. So it has this has flip direction class applied, and it's either left or right. So by default, you'll see that it's set to has flip direction right to start off with. If I now go into this template and I edit it, and I switch it to has flip direction left, for example, where it's doing the change, that you can see the change now. And I click on save. What this does is this saves this change into the database. If I go to my file, you'll see my file still has the has flip direction right. But what I can do with that plugin that I showed you, and I'm going to just keep my editor open so I can flip things back, is in the plugin, I can say, let me just find it, in the create block theme settings, I can say overwrite the changes. So overwrite the changes that I've made in the database and store them to the files. So as you saw earlier, this has flip direction right. And if I then click overwrite sending and hit generate there, and we go back to this code, you'll see it's changed to left. So what that means is I can design my theme in the editor, make all the changes I need to, hit save, hit that generate button, and it'll write those changes to the files. And then I can commit those changes to my SVN or my GitHub or wherever I want to. So that's one of my favorite things about the Create Block Theme plugin. You can also export, so you can start with a base theme and then use the export option. Let me make this a little bit bigger so you can see the options here. I've zoomed out a bit because of the live stream. You can use the export option to export the whole theme with the user changes into a new theme. You can create a child theme from here to then build on top of. You can clone an existing theme. You can override, which I just saw. You can also create a blank theme, and then you can create style variations as well. So I would recommend using create block theme as part of your process. Would you say this is a failsafe if the client messes something within the theme? So remember that if the client goes into the editor and makes changes, you can revert those changes. So let me show you what I mean there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch this back to the right flip, so it's the way I want it to be. I'm going to move this over a little bit here. I'm going to zoom out here, so it's the way I want it to be. I'm going to save this change. Now, this step of overwriting, I want to see if I can automate it somehow. It's one of the other things I was thinking about when I started these live streams, because I don't like to have to go in and hit generate all the time. So I'm still thinking about how I'm going to automate that, either with a build step or a watcher or something, but I'm doing it manually for now. But there's the change. There you'll see it's gone back to right. So this is the core theme, the theme code. So if my client now comes along and makes a change, and the change ends up balking the site. So the client comes along and they hit save by mistake, and now it's looking horrible and it's not the way I want it to be. You can, as far as I know, revert these changes. So what you can do, for example, with this footer template, is you can go, and I think this still works. I haven't tried this for a while, but bear with me. Let's see if it does work. You can go into your footer, and you can say, now they've moved things around here. So let's see if I can find what I'm looking for. There was a way that you could revert back to the default changes. Clear customizations. So in this footer template, for example, I make sure that the settings sidebar is available. There's the footer, and I say clear customizations. And then this will use the template as supplied by the theme. So if I do that, it should switch that horizontal rule back to the way it's supposed to be. And there we go. And that's another cool thing about block themes, is it'll always read it from the file unless changes are made in the editor, which are then stored in the database. And because they're stored in the database, you could just come in and say, clear those customizations, go back to normal. So that, I would say, is a nice failsafe. If your client has access to the files, that's a different story. And if a client had access to the files on a classic theme or a block theme, that would be the problem anyway. But it does allow you to retain that original information in the theme files, and then let the client make changes, whatever the changes they want to make. And if one of those changes breaks things, you can just restore those customizations. So yeah, there's many. This is one of the reasons that I like block themes as a developer myself. I like the fact that it gives the client abilities to customize things, but if they break it, you can just always revert back. So do remember that. The other thing to note is there are ways to lock blocks, and I haven't worked with that myself for quite a while, but I know that there was an article in the developer blog about curating, I think it was curating the editor experience. I think it was here. I know Nick Diego is doing quite a lot of work. So this might be one. And then there's another one that he's done. I think it's this one. Yeah, this is by Nick, where he talks about, curating the experience so that folks can do less with it. So you can actually lock things down. So this is one article I recommend checking out. And then there's also in the block theme course on Learn WordPress. So JLR, this is maybe more of interest to you because I don't know if you know about these things. I know some of my regular live stream viewers do know about this. But we built a couple of block theme courses for Learn WordPress a while ago. And the first one is sort of an introduction to block theme development, and the second one kind of takes it a little bit further. I just want to find, this is the first one. I can't find the second one. There's part two. And in part two, one of the things we cover is, let me just find it here, block patterns, variations, locking down your theme. There's a whole module on locking down your theme. And you can disable specific settings, lock blocks to prevent user changes. So do check that out. I'll share those two links with you as well if you would like to go through those. We are planning a version 3 of this developer's guide to block themes. And the goal of version 3 is to basically cover all the things that I've been going through these live streams. Things like how to create custom styles, how to customize blocks, all those kind of things. So hopefully those resources are useful to you there. And yes, you can going back to your original question, you can still do functions.php, you can still do custom styles and custom JavaScript in a block theme. At the end of the day, the front end is just HTML. So we're not moving away from PHP. WordPress will always run on PHP. I don't see it. The only way that it could not run on PHP is if it literally switched to another language like Python or something like that, which I don't see happening. Even though everything to do with blocks is JavaScript based, it does need to make requests to a REST API. That REST API is powered by PHP. So we will always have that PHP foundation. And PHP is just growing and growing at the moment anyway. So I don't see PHP going away as an option just yet. So yeah. Okay. Cool. That was a fun little tangent. I enjoyed that. I really did. It was fun to kind of go back over some of these things. Let's get on with what I plan to do today. Okay. So where was I? No, let me not leave that. That can stay open. That's fine. Let's go back to the footer. Let's see, I'm still 80%. Okay. So, has flip direction right. That's perfect. It's actually interesting that that's saved. I must have saved it somewhere along the line. Okay, that's all good. That's all good. That's all good. Okay. So, it seems that... no problem. No problem at all. It seems that this does kind of work in a way. So, let me go back to my index template just because I like to work in a bigger template. Let me just refresh this. I'm still getting these issues, but I think that's because the post body didn't have that saved. So I'm going to go and just check that my footer doesn't have any customizations saved. Yeah, I thought so. I'm going to save that. I'm going to refresh that and just make sure there's no errors there. I'm still getting block validation errors, which is annoying. See, it's not storing the flip direction, which is weird. Anyway, I'll come back to that. So defaults to right, I need to set this to be the default somehow. So I want to kind of fix that first. So where is my... Here. So I want to see this button icon. I have to go find this. There we go. So, button. Okay, button variant, primary. Try by focus icon, whether the button is focused. I guess that would be the default. Let's see. Button focus. What does that do though? Doesn't do anything. Yeah. Can you edit this code? No, you can't. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to just make right the focus for the meantime and just see if that makes a difference. Didn't seem to make a diff. Wait, hang on. Is it? Yeah, it is compiling. I'm starting to wonder if button is the right thing. Is pressed maybe? Let's see if that makes a diff. Trying to get it so it looks like that button is the one selected when the... I should probably do this in the footer. It'll probably be easier that way. Ooh. Looks awful in the footer. No, I wonder if that's because I did something wrong here with this true business. Let's just do... Oh wait, it's because I'm closing the button, that's why. There, that's better. Just broke everything. Okay, that worked. I like that. That worked. But now when that changes, now I need that to stay pressed. Okay. So that's good. I wonder if... Yeah, is pressed is definitely the right. Let me just see if I change this to... Yeah, I would say is pressed is the right thing. So that's fine. I want to see... Is there any kind of padding around this? Button type button. Components button, drop down menu toggle has icon. So it's a components toolbar, components button has icon is what's giving it the padding. And then this one has icon, doesn't have the has icon like the other one does. I wonder why that is. Components button has icon. So it's a components button. I wonder if that's the difference. So that's a components button. And that's a components button. That's got has icon once. Components toolbar. Components toolbar. Components button, components drop down menu toggle. It's probably that. You see it's in a toolbar. Whereas this isn't. Okay. Block toolbar. Block toolbar. So why? Does it need to be in its own toolbar? That's interesting. Block controls alignment toolbar. I wonder if I might just need to... Yeah, it's its own toolbar. 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 Block editor block toolbar. Components toolbar. Okay. wonder if it should be a toolbar with a toolbar button. Let's see. Let's see what that does. Block controls instead. Optionally replicate toolbar group. Block controls toolbar group. It's probably that. Bet you it's that. Bet you it's that. Revisit block controls and then toolbar group. Then toolbar button. Yeah. Okay, so now we need to import toolbar group and toolbar button from WordPress components. Not just the button. I'm hoping this is going to work. Let's see. It's a bit smaller here. Ah, there we go. Now it's all nicely aligned. Lovely. Okay, so now we can switch things around. We'll need to change that is press. We'll need to change the location of that, but at least it's working now. It's looking more like a toolbar. Yay! Goody. Okay. So now here's the question. I want to see if that happens if you just say is press. Does that work? Okay, that does seem to work. Then when I click this one, I'm going to have to change that. So I don't know how that works. And if is pressed is right though. Okay, well now we know we're working with toolbar buttons. Let's have a look and see what toolbar buttons have. I guess they will probably, I suppose button probably, toolbar button is probably just extend button. Ah, there we go. Using toolbar button will ensure the correct styling of a button in the toolbar. And also the keyboard interactions are consistent with WIA ARIA toolbar button. Excellent. Okay, toolbars, so we've got buttons, props, container class, subscript. Okay, the rest is the same as the button. Okay, so pressed, I guess, is the right one. Now, what I need to figure out is how to change whether it's pressed or not. I think I know what that's going to be. That's going to be something like this. Just trying to think this through. Probably an easier way to do this. But this is how I'm going to do this. We'll see. There's probably a cleverer way to do this, using like a not situation. That didn't work. I'm getting any errors. Set them both to false. Let's see if one changes. Wonder why that is. Okay, let's do some. You know what I probably need to do? I need to set this up as an attribute. I feel like there's an easier way to do this. Let's see if this works. Yeah, that's doing something. That's definitely doing something. If I can get it working, then I can always refactor it later to make it simpler. But I just want to make sure that I'm not going crazy. There we go. That works. Much better. Now I need to fix the calculation because it's not doing the right thing, but at least I got that working. So I'm pretty happy with that. I still need to figure out this validation issue. I don't know why content saved and what's retrieved is different. I might just have to install this on a clean site to see why, but at least this is working. Okay. So let's go back to this. Now this, we just did plus and minus, and that's clearly not the answer. So it's going to be, I'm trying to remember when we did this. So it's the wide size, what did you? We said 100% of the view width minus the wide size divided by 2 plus the wide size. I feel like we were almost there when we did what we did. But I think I'm trying to remember view width was. Don't work with these things every day, and Aruba does. 1% of the viewport size. So 100 would be 100% of the viewport size. So what we're doing is we're calculating, we're saying 100% of the size, subtracting the wide size, which is 1, 2 in this case. Let me write this out. That's the only way I'm going to figure this out in my head. Yeah, it's 1,200. So it's so the width is effectively so let's say the width is 1920. What we're doing here is we're saying 1920 minus 1,200 divided by 2 plus 1,200. So that'll be 600 plus 1,200, so it'll be 1,800. And that's how it works out the difference. Okay. But now that's to work out the difference. Oh wait, we need the margins probably as well. And the margins are already there. brain can't figure this out today. I've got like 4 minutes left. So when it flips the other way. Oh wait, that's okay. I need to see this in a template. That's actually fine. That actually stays the same. So it's fine. But now the margin changes. That's the difference. So the width doesn't change, the margin changes. Because currently, what is the marginal descending separator? Let's just go back here. It's this one, yeah. It's this. No, that's... Width is right, it's just starting in the wrong place. Yeah. I'm not good with CSS. Let's move if I change this to something less. No. I cannot for the life of me remember what makes it start where it starts and end where it ends. I also can't remember if this is the intended direction. I'm pretty sure it is, but now this whole thing needs to move over. I'm getting close. I feel like I'm getting close. So I'm going to leave it there. We're coming close to time. I'm pretty happy with how far I've got. I'm happy that... I'm not happy with this code, I'll be honest. I feel like there's a better way to do this. Like you can probably... change this so that it's if something not true, false, and then just change one thing. So I'm going to come back to that. I'm going to leave a note here. Could left. Okay, but that's, yeah, that one. Pretty sure they can. Pretty sure you could say press direction or something, and then is press would be not press direction, and then it would be true in the one case and false in the other. But I'll figure that one out next week. But I'm glad that I've got it working. Glad I've got it flipping left and right. And this is so very close right now. All I need to do is literally when this flips left, I need to move it over, and then I'm done. and that's really cool. So that's where I'm going to end it today. I feel very happy about committing this code, which is nice. um, so let me actually just save it as the way it is. That's perfect. Let's save that. Then let's export this data. It's doing its thing there. Why is it taking so long? Yeah, it's got the flip right, so that's fine. It's taking really long. I don't understand why. Let me stop this. It's still saving. Good grief. Oh wait, I don't want. No, I don't want export. I want overwrite. Clicking the wrong button there. There we go. That's better. Okay, so that's exported things, and let's just make sure that it's still doing what I wanted to. Let's pop into the templates. Okay, that's still doing what I wanted to, so that's great. Excellent. All right. So then I'm going to commit this. It should just be the JavaScript. Oh, I did some custom CSS and the JavaScript and the theme JSON. That's file. Let's add the just ignore. Let's commit that. Let's push that. Okay, and that's my bit for today. It's taken me about 4 weeks to get this right, but I'm really, really close. I'm really, really excited about that. I've just got to figure out how to move this over.